Past, Now, Read presents another entry in our anthology of stories that need to be told. The shadow, the whistleblower, vanished. I know why. Enjoy. If you have a story that needs to be told, email it to stories@pastnowread.com. If you like this story, stay tuned on every Friday at 6:30 p.m. for the next episode. Now. The whistleblower vanished. I know why. Origin of the shadow. They burned me alive to hide a secret. A records warehouse in Virginia, torched before sunrise, was supposed to erase everything. The black budget programs, the surveillance ops gone wrong, the bodies that never made the news. But I survived. My name's not in any system now. My face doesn't show up on facial recognition scans. What they built in that basement beneath Langley created more than an analyst. It created a ghost. I became the shadow. I don't exist. But I know who does. Since that day, I've made it my mission to expose the ones who hide behind fake smiles and empty oaths. I stop crimes before they happen, intercept intelligence before it's weaponized, and make those who profit off lies pay for every drop of blood spilled. But nothing, not the pedophile blackmail rings, not the corporate espionage killings, not even the stolen AI, prepared me for this. Because this time, they're not just silencing a journalist or disappearing a foreign agent. They're rewriting American history in real time. And someone, deep inside, wants me to stop it. The whistleblower. The motel was one of those off-brand joints wedged between a vape shop and a payday lender. Cheap, forgettable, like it was designed for secrets to bleed out quietly. I was parked across the street in a stolen utility van, eyes glued to the feed from a pinhole cam I'd planted inside room 214 3 nights earlier. Elm, his code name, not his real name, paced the carpet in threadbare socks, hands shaking as he prepped a hardened laptop. He was trying to upload a classified file to a decentralized dead drop I'd set up years ago for whistleblowers who couldn't trust anyone else. No VPN, no Tor, just a burn tunnel leading to a cold storage server in Iceland and a fail dead man timer if the upload didn't finish. I watched the progress bar climb, 64%, 71%, 73%, then static. Just gone. Feed cut. Signal flatlined. I tapped the side monitor. Nothing. My heart froze. Not because I cared about Elm, not yet, but because I'd seen this pattern before. Someone had triangulated the signal. 3 seconds later, the streetlights went out. One by one. A hum built in the air. A resonance I could feel in my teeth. Van doors. Combat boots. Suppressors. 4 black-clad agents moved in. NSA extraction team. Division Theta. No insignia. No hesitation. I reached for my gear, knowing I was seconds too late. They breached room 214 with flash silence grenades. I saw the flicker from the hallway camera, whiteout bloom, and then muffled chaos. A body thudded against the drywall. The door slammed shut again. 2 minutes later, they exited with a limp form wrapped in a thermal blanket. Elm was gone, probably alive for now. The laptop was torched, literally. One of the agents carried it in a thermal case already smoking from inside. But it was the woman I noticed. Short black hair under a softshell hood. Not standard issue. She hesitated, half a step, as she passed Elm's body on the gurney. Her gloved hand hovered just above his face. Then she looked around, quick, panicked, like she wasn't supposed to feel anything. I zoomed in, froze her eyes, uploaded the still to my offline facial recognet. Hit after hit came back scrubbed. Government wash. Alias only. Kelton. Mara. I don't believe in coincidences. 10 minutes later, the NSA team was gone. The motel hallway reeked of burned plastic and adrenaline. The night returned to its usual rot. I slipped across the street, ghosting through the alley while my jammer scrambled nearby cell towers. Up the fire escape through the busted third-floor window I'd opened earlier. Room 214 looked like a nervous breakdown. Blood droplets on the tile. Coffee spilled on a file folder torn in half. No laptop. No Elm. But they missed something. I crouched near the sink. Behind a cracked vanity mirror was a tiny RF tag taped to the wall. My signal detector picked it up. A homing beacon, low power. Elm had marked it himself, probably expecting to retrieve it if he made it out. I pulled it free and linked to the data burst. One corrupted file, partially transmitted. File name: Furnace, D. Auth chain: Obama. NSC as links. NCR. Status: 73% uploaded. Last timestamp: 03:14 a.m. The real story wasn't just about the Russia smear. This was something deeper, bigger. Furnace was the name I'd seen once before, on a dossier that disappeared the same week I was burned alive. Elm hadn't just leaked classified info. He triggered the failsafe to unlock a digital coffin someone buried during the Obama years, some thing powerful enough that they'd send a kill team before the sun came up. And Mara Kelton, she'd hesitated. That was my opening. I just had to find her before they did. The analyst. I didn't sleep. I don't really anymore, not in the normal sense. By morning, I'd mapped out her route. Mara Kelton, NSA analyst. Counterintelligence division. Unmarried. No children. Lived in a clean condo in Arlington under the name M. Harwell. Her life looked synthetic. Too perfect. Like someone built it, then wrapped it in a firewall. She left her unit just after 6 a.m., hair pinned up, scarf loose, coffee in hand like she hadn't helped disappear a man 6 hours earlier. I followed. The metro swallowed her, and I slipped in 2 cars behind her. People don't notice shadows. That's the whole point. But I studied her. The way she flinched when her phone buzzed. The way she avoided eye contact. The small tremble in her hand when she adjusted her badge at the Pentagon security line. Inside, I lost her. Intentionally. I'd already hacked into the building's external security stream. 37 minutes later, her phone lit up again. A new message. Not encrypted, which was odd. From Director C. Message: meet me. Secure line. Now. She didn't respond. She just left. 2 hours later, she sat alone in a diner off Route 50. A dumpy place with bad eggs and worse lighting. She picked the corner booth. Her phone was powered down. Old school. I watched through a broken security camera across the street. Facial cues. Lip reads. Her hands were clenched under the table. She wasn't there to eat. Her boss arrived. Director Caldwell. A name I knew from years ago, before I died. He used to run internal containment protocols for digital leaks, the kind that never make the news, the kind that end with bodies in rivers. They didn't hug. They didn't shake hands. He just sat. I cranked the audio filters. "You told me Elm would live," Mara said, low but sharp. "He was a risk," Caldwell replied. "You made the call." "I was told he'd be disappeared, not euthanized." "You froze," he snapped. "If my team hadn't stepped in," she cut him off. "He was trying to expose something buried in Furnace. Do you even know what's in that file?" He leaned back, smiled. "I helped write it." Mara's jaw tightened. Her eyes, normally calculating, looked scared. "Why me then?" "Because you're loyal. Or were. Now I'm not so sure." He slid something across the table. A small vial. Clear liquid. Labeled only with a number, 6F3. "You drink that, your loyalty's proven. We move on. You stay useful." She didn't move. He stood. "You have 1 hour. If we don't see you by then, well, you know the protocol." Then he was gone. I felt something twist in my chest. Not pity. Not yet. But she was in over her head, and she knew it. The file, Furnace 19D, was darker than I imagined if Caldwell co-authored it. That man didn't write memos. He wrote kill orders. 10 minutes later, she left the vial untouched. Instead, she drove to St. Bridget's Cathedral in northeast DC. Not exactly a sanctuary. She sat in the back pew and opened a Bible. I was already inside, up in the rafters where the light couldn't reach. My drone watched from above as she flipped to Psalms. Psalm 94, verse 16. "Who will rise up for me against the wicked?" Her fingers trembled as she slid something inside the spine. A thumb drive. Then she walked out, like it never happened. I waited. 10 minutes. No tales. No watchers. Then I took the Bible. Inside the thumb drive was a partial decrypt. Metadata chains, fragments of email headers, time-stamped communications between Obama's National Security Council and Division Theta. Code words like spinlock, magpie, and finally, one chilling subject line. Activate, burial protocol, flame-proof traces only. Furnace wasn't a metaphor. It was a digital crematorium. And Mara Kelton had just betrayed the agency that trained her, which meant she had maybe 24 hours left to live. The burial protocol. I had 18 hours before Mara Kelton's expiration was officially scheduled. That's how they talk in the intelligence community. Not death. Not termination. Expiration. Like a parking meter. Or food gone bad. She didn't know I was watching her apartment, listening through fiber taps I drilled behind her drywall. She was pacing again, rereading the same lines from Psalm 94 like they might save her. They wouldn't. That drive she left in the Bible? It wasn't the only one. I knew how these people cleaned house. Redundancies were everywhere, except in their arrogance. If Furnace was their purge engine, then burial protocol was the system that ensured no trace survived. Digital cremation. One file, one key, one chance to kill the story forever. I needed to find that key. It lived in a place called Grid 6, A cold storage vault buried under an old NSA backup facility outside Reston. Off books, no paper, trail. Only 3 people had access. Caldwell was one. The other 2 were presumed dead, probably by design. Getting in meant setting off alarms, so I didn't go in. I redirected a drone flyover and fed the NSA a false telemetry spike 12 miles east. That gave me 9 minutes inside the real site before the backup teams responded. I broke in through the aquifer vents, slid through stagnant runoff water into a sub-basement built before smartphones existed. The walls pulsed with electromagnetic shielding, the hum of history being erased. Inside Grid 6, the air was cryo-cold. The servers weren't cloud-connected. They were coffin-quiet, air-gapped with laser-inscribed plates locked behind biosignature cages. I bypassed the retinal scanner with a trick I'd invented years ago. A high-res printed cornea on thermal reactive plastic. Caldwell's, scraped from an old personnel photo, enhanced and filtered. Crude, but it fooled the gate. Inside, the server labeled Furnace 19D hissed open. I pulled the data core. As soon as I connected it to my air-gapped field rig, I knew I wasn't supposed to see what I saw. Furnace 19D wasn't just about the Russia narrative. It was a weaponized psychological engine. Custom-built AIs fed with behavioral data sets, media manipulation scripts, and real-time social engineering scenarios. Built under the guise of countering foreign influence, but secretly aimed inward. Targets? US voters. The system simulated entire news cycles, mapped emotional trigger chains, recommended false narratives, and then routed them through unwitting journalists and compromised platforms. Controlled leaks, engineered outrage, manufactured consent, and in the deepest subdirectory, a file that froze me. Target, SHDWAZ32. Status, deceased. Confirmed burn event, 2017. Threat level, red tier. Asset knowledge violation. Advised action, none. Record sealed. They'd written my death into the protocol, not just covered it up. They'd coded it. That was the moment I understood. I wasn't just fighting to expose a lie. I was proof the lie worked. I was the glitch they couldn't delete. I was the reason they built the furnace in the first place. I yanked the core, overloaded the cooling system, set a silent malware detonation on a timer, and crawled back out through the aquifer. By the time I emerged under moonlight, Grid 6 was already frying itself from the inside. But Mara was in worse danger than I thought. She wasn't being watched. She was being framed. As I intercepted NSA chatter from a rooftop relay station, the broadcast came through, encrypted but clear enough. Subject Mara Kelton is compromised. Containment protocol now classified as active terror risk. Disavow initiated. Frame materials preceded. Execute public-facing neutralization at 0400. They weren't just going to kill her. They were going to make her a traitor. And the public would never know they'd murdered the whistleblower who almost destroyed them. The extraction. They moved faster than expected. At 03:48 a.m., 2 black SUVs pulled up outside the medical tech firm Mara had worked at years ago, her former cover assignment. The building had been shuttered for months, but the rooftop, flat, isolated, no camera feeds, perfect for a staged takedown. She was already there, cornered, probably lured by a fake message. I sprinted across rain-slick rooftops, My breath tight against the mask, neural HUD pulsing red. One drone in the sky above her. Thermal scan confirmed 2 heat signatures moving in fast. NSA wet team. Civilians would never see a thing. A staged jumper. A suicide note. End of story. Not on my watch. I came in low. The first agent never saw me, until my elbow shattered his windpipe. He gurgled, dropped. The second drew his weapon, but Mara pivoted, kicked it away. She wasn't trained for combat, but adrenaline made her fast. I hit him with a shock baton, non-lethal, but enough to melt his circuits for a minute. Mara backed up, eyes wide. "Who the hell are you?" I didn't answer. Just pulled a syringe from my coat. Quick sedative, neural dampener, memory haze for the ride. She resisted until I said 2 words. "Furnace lives." She froze. Let me inject her. Slumped. I caught her before she fell. Wrapped her in an evac shroud. Launched the drone loop. Fake video of her leaping from the roof, complete with timestamp, low-res grain, and a falsified thermal splash. Let them think she was gone. I left a thumb drive behind, labeled, "If you kill her, this goes live." It held enough truth to start a war. By dawn, Mara Kelton was gone. To them, she was dead. But to me, she'd just become the most important ally I never asked for. The flame that survived. She woke up underground. No cell signal. No clocks. Just dim LED strips humming through silence. Mara asked where she was. I told her. Somewhere the truth still breathes. She didn't cry. She didn't panic. She just sat with the weight of everything she'd lost and everything she still might save. We watched the corrupted file together, frame by frame, every lie, every shadowed face, every orchestrated scream. She whispered, "How many people knew?" I answered, "Not enough." Then I handed her the last decrypted fragment of Furnace. Her fingers trembled as she read it, and the fire behind her eyes came alive. You have been listening to The Shadow. The Whistleblower Vanished. I Know Why. Produced and adapted for audio narration by Past, Now Read. Stories that need to be told. If you have a story that needs to be told, email it to stories@pastnowread.com. Please subscribe, like, and hit that bell for future updates. If you liked this story, stay tuned for the next episode each Friday evening at 6:30 p.m. Follow for more. If you like our stories, please tag with someone who may also like Past Now Read, stories that need to be told. It would really help our channel. Thank you. All content and images are copyrighted by Phone House, LLC, 2025, all rights reserved.